Friends and family, what is up? Check it out. We have another locker room coaching session. Basically, I just went through my chest and shoulder day. You can see I'm sweaty, I'm pumped, and I'm ready to eat. But first, before I eat, I want to tell you guys a little tip. For some reason, I feel like a lot of people have a difficult time contracting their rear delts, having an exercise actually hit their rear delts correctly. And I, for the longest time, had the same problem. I'd do the motion, and I would feel like I was doing it right, but I wasn't really connecting to my rear delt. I was actually using my biceps a lot, of my upper traps, things like that. So today, I'm gonna take you guys through face pulls on the cables, and this is one of my absolute favorite exercises for rear delts. I pretty much rotate between this and reverse pec deck flies, essentially. So with this, what you wanna do is you wanna set the pulley at just under your shoulder height. This way, when you back up away from the machine and start the actual repetition, and you bend down a little bit, by you bending down, your shoulders will then be aligned with the pulley. So you want it just a little bit lower than when you're standing. Then you're gonna grab the ropes, you're gonna back up a little bit so that the weight is removed from the rack, and so that when you come to the very bottom of the motion, the weight is not resting back on the rack. You want it to always be above and it never touches. That way your momentum is never screwed up. When you back up, you're gonna want to a stagger stance, which essentially means that one of your legs is pointing forward, the other one is a little bit bent, and you're basically putting all your weight on that front leg. This keeps your body stable while you're doing this exercise, because if you stand with both your feet flat and normal, you're gonna have a lot of wobbling going on. The weight is gonna move your body around a lot. But if you do the stagger step, then you can basically brace your whole entire body from the heels all the way up to the top of your body, and you can do this motion with literally the only thing moving is your elbows and your shoulders, not your whole torso, not your back. It's not moving all over the place. So once you're set up, now you're actually gonna do the repetitions. This is where it gets a little tricky. You start with your thumbs up. You can do this however you want. By the way, there are so many variations, but this is my favorite way to do it. Okay, so you want to grab the rope, kind of the opposite of supinated. It's not exactly pronated, but it's basically palms towards the machine and a little bit away. And then as you're coming up, your thumbs are gonna go from an upright position to a pointing at each other position. It's very hard to explain, but your thumbs are basically gonna be pointing at each other at the top of the movement, and then when you come back down, they're gonna be pointing straight up like you're giving a thumbs up. So when you come all the way to the back, they're pointing sideways, and when you come all the way down, they're pointing straight up and down. And this little bit of a rotation in your humerus bone is going to cause your rear delts to come into play more. If you don't do that rotation, you can still hit your rear delts, but you're gonna feel a lot more of your biceps coming in, you're gonna feel a lot more of your traps coming in, and you're gonna feel less range of motion when you're doing this. Now, what I'm saying with the biceps coming in is a lot of people will not think about pulling the ropes apart. That's important, it's imperative. When you come up to the top, you wanna think about pulling the ropes apart, even though you can't, right? You can only think about it by pulling your elbows outwards as you're pulling them backwards. This is gonna activate your rear delts. If you just pull the rope straight to your face, your biceps will get a huge pump, but your rear delts pretty much can be left out of it entirely. Chest up, keep your abs tight, your glutes tight. That way everything is a nice foundation to push off of. And when you do this exercise, think about pulling the middle of the cable, that little metal piece. Think about pulling it right in between your eyebrows. That's a good spot to pull it. If you pull it any lower, which a lot of people will do, you're gonna be hitting your lats. And a lot of people will do this when they start fatiguing, because it becomes easier for them to pull it down lower because those muscles are less fatigued. But you have to forcibly think and be active and conscious when you're lifting. Lift consciously, please. And keep your elbows up so that you're hitting your rear delts. The higher you go, if you go higher than just the bridge of your nose, you go higher than that, you're gonna be including your traps a lot more and not just your rear delts. So that can actually be a strategy if you wanna move right after your rear delts into trap work. You can start by rowing really high and getting your traps fired up and then move on into that, and that is perfectly fine as well. The final tip I can give you guys is make sure you control your pace, your motion speed, because if you're just yanking it and throwing it down for reps, you're not gonna activate your rear delts. This is one of the ones where you have to be most conscious when you're lifting and really think about squeezing your rear delts, and then as you're coming down, you're still holding your rear delts. You're essentially just going through that motion of keeping your rear delts flexed, but while letting your hands and elbows move forward. So there is all the tips that I can give you guys off the top of my head for the face pull exercise as far as hitting rear delts, because I feel like a lot of people do not utilize this exercise as well as it can be utilized. It's one of the best workouts that you can do for your rear delts, but it's just commonly done incorrectly. So I hope you guys can take some of these tips to heart. I hope it can help you in your next rear delt day or whenever you're gonna throw in your rear delts. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this. I'd love for you guys to give me your opinions and what tips you guys have on this exercise, as well as what exercises you want me to cover next. Thank you guys for checking out the video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave a comment if you did like it. And if you're not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe. Thanks for checking out the video. Team Beyond the Week, CT.
Lift heavy or die MIRIN, mother.